What's up, everybody? Hello and welcome to Wingless Wednesday for the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League tonight. It's the virtual Volusia, the double V, VV. It's terrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well, I wanted to do something with V's, and I just went the wrong way. It's just, sometimes these things don't work out. Well, as you can hear, I'm joined in the broadcast booth by my cohort in crime, Mr. Billy Rowley. How's it going, Billy?
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's Knoxville Nationals week, so let's go run midgets of Volusia.
Yeah, I mean, we are, we're kind of, I don't want to say that
I'm tired of Knoxville, I'll say it.
Well, but we're all tired of Knoxville at this point. But then again, we are running up against a small race in Knoxville, Iowa right now. What's going on in Knoxville, by the way? Where are we at in the card?
Currently qualifying at this point. Qualifying, and they're about 25 or 30 cars in, so about halfway through.
Right now, here at the virtual Volusia Raceway, we are sitting with 2.5 minutes left in hot laps here, where James Tiernan is currently P1 with a lap of 16.374. William Brickley and Chance Crum, your top three. Anthony Lepresto, Tyler Schell breaking into the top 5 right there. We got a pretty good number of cars here, somewhere between 30 and 40 right now.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of a bump in that. I'd read online earlier that World of Thunder also runs a midget league on Wednesdays, and had heard their administrators had a family member had passed away, so they were postponing that race till next week. So our best wishes go out to him and his family, and I think a lot of those guys will be probably racing over here tonight too.
Absolutely. You know, like those World of Thunder guys, get the chance to work with them a little bit a couple weeks back. So
yeah, really good group of guys.
Well, before we get going here, why don't we take a look at our season standings after 4 races. This is race number 5 of 7. It is currently Mr. Alex Smolders who leads the points, 13 points ahead of Anthony Lepresto. Chris Roberts, Cole Newellhoffen, and Braden Eiler rounding out the top 5. 3 Kinzer Sim Team drivers in that top 5, Billy, and that's something that we've seen here recently. That team's really coming on of late.
Yeah, they're really, really fast in the wing sprint cars, and then me and Braden Eiler were talking earlier today. He didn't even realize he was leading non-wing 360 points later on. So I'm not real sure how he's doing it, as he's a hell of a wing racer, but making it work without the crutch.
I was gonna say he's probably pretty surprised at that, really.
Very surprised. Very surprised.
Here's Tyler Schell out there in the 10. Turning some laps. Is that an old Sammy Swindell machine he's got?
That is an old Sammy Swindell machine. The guy that paints his cars was slacking this past week and didn't get the old midget in the paint booth.
Well, if you didn't know, the man that paints his cars is the man talking to you right now. And I thought maybe we need to clarify that, because last night I was unaware that Big Z was Corey Wenzel, and I know there's plenty that are unaware that Billy is the Tuna Can, actually. So the Tuna Can paints by the Tuna Can. Sorry, that's Billy's side hustle here. Been going pretty well here recently, and we are getting ready to head into qualifications here. We're gonna follow Mr. James Tiernan, who was fastest in practice. In fact, let's ride along with him here on his qualification lap. He's getting ready to take the green as we speak. Real smooth. You can see not much wheel input on that car, trying not to scrub speed. Did scrub some speed right there, but he gets it to the bottom of the racetrack, which is something, Billy, that is going to pay dividends here tonight. It seems like at Volusia, coming off of turn 4, the bottom will hold moisture, and if you can get your left and right rear down in it, it can be very helpful to your chances for a good finish.
Yeah, this track is kind of shaped weird. It's flat on the bottom, then kind of runs up to a bank in 1 and 2, and then flattens back off. Where in 3 and 4, it kind of is banked on the bottom, then flattens out, and then banks up again, and then flattens out again. So if you can keep the car, especially in 3 and 4, all the way on the bottom as far as humanly possible, you're going to be generally faster than the guy that's up on the cushion, and especially in a midget.
Well, James Tiernan clocked in second quick. Braden Eiler, we were watching him. He is currently 10th. Anthony Lepresto had the top spot before Alex Smolders took it away. We are watching Michael Klinkelfuss right now, which that is a gorgeous car. Plain paint, but I really, really like the look at that car. Kendall Tucker out here on track right now, currently 18th. So it is Alex Smolders on top right now with a lap of 1:06.538. That was his second lap that he put up. Only a few drivers left, and they are out of time, actually. So that is it for qualifications. Alex Smolders, top man. Anthony Lepresto, second. We are going to invert 3 here in these heat races. 4 heat races in total. 10 laps each, the distance. And this, Billy, you talked about Volusia being a strange shape. But this is one of the larger tracks that the midgets are going to do battle at here this season.
Yeah, and the last time that the midgets were here, I actually drove from the back of the D main up to, I think, 10th in the feature. It's a very, very racy track anymore, and with the build changes that keep coming, it seems to be getting better and better, actually. So for even a midget on the it races extremely well. And depending on what Chris does with the track, I don't know. Last night he kind of threw all of us wing guys a curveball. I don't know if he's going to throw another curveball or not. I would kind of like to see it just to, parody. It's always fun.
Yeah, and, being that this is a track that the midgets don't always visit, it's going to be interesting to check and see how these things go. Now, when we bring sprint cars here in the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League, this track will be completely wore out, and they will be on the wall by the end of the night, and then normally you got guys on the inside wall as well. It gives multiple lanes and choices, but the cushion will be flat on the fence, and I don't think we're going to see that here tonight.
No, I don't know if you could gear a midget to really truthfully run the extreme top. I think there's that kind of where the outside line is, right? Where the outside line is when they pace, right around where the cushion is actually at right now. Maybe a little bit higher up than that. But to run the fence here in a midget's extremely hard.
Brent Hobson and David Flick on the front row. Alex Smolders and Tyler Schell, row number 2. Michael Klinkelfuss and Alexander Balducci, row 3. Tim Berner and Robert Satterfield, row 4. And Nathan Albrecht will round out your field. Smolders in third, inside row number 2, is the quick qualifier. We have inverted 3. We will transfer 3 to tonight's feature. 10 laps the distance. Top 3 advance. We're going green here off of turn number 4. Midgets at Volusia are a go. Hobson out to the early lead. David Flick on the outside. He had Smolders making a move and contact there on the backstretch between Smolders and Tyler Schell. Billy, the backstretch is really where these guys are going to have the most problems. It doesn't matter what car you're in. For whatever reason, the cars become nearly magnetic coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, it's that banking. The top side flattens out completely, and it's not straight. I wouldn't say it's a true D, but it's almost kind of got a dog leg coming off a 2 that you have to watch. And if you're on the outside of somebody, you really have to pay attention to where the bottom guy is, because otherwise they'll stick you in that opening, and that sucks.
Interesting situation right now. Our quick qualifier is currently running 4th, and Michael Klinkelfuss in 5th is running these guys down as well. You can see the battle there for 2nd. David Flick has it, utilizing the high lane, and Tyler Schell is the man trying to battle his way into it. Schell, however, has a problem. I don't think he changed from his qualifying fuel. Tyler Schell is in the pits now. I think he ran out of fuel out there.
That would actually make a whole lot of sense about lap 5. Either that or I don't know if he got a black flag for jumping the start or what it may be, but yeah, he's definitely got a long road to head. And actually, James just posted in the lobby, there's a heads up, 2 gallons will not make it 10 laps.
There you go. And that, you know, that's bit, I don't care who you are in the field, that's bit everybody at one point, whether you're in officials or hosted or whatever. You just, ooh, a little bit of contact there between Smolders and Flick. That's going to give Klinkelfuss a look. But there's always a chance that you will forget to change your fuel going into the next race, and that's what happens. But it's really unfortunate for Schell because he had control of 3rd place, was keeping the quick qualifier out of tonight's feature, and now Smolders has been given a gift. And after that battle with Flick, Flick is now on the outside looking in as Michael Klinkelfuss has made his way in.
And that is a gorgeous car. It kind of reminds me of old, Danny Drynen's old 17 cars back in the day, the C&D cars that he always crashed at Eldor.
Look at that. It's even got an old school pinup girl on there as well. I didn't notice that. That's very clean. Brett Hobson, your race leader right now. He's got 2 corners to take away victory here in heat race number 1. Coming off of turn 4, Hobson's going to win. Alex Smolders going to finish 2nd. Michael Klinkelfuss will take the final transfer spot. Looks like David Flick and Alexander Balducci will have to settle for tonight's B main. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I like a fancy sprint car, but when it comes to a midget, I think just a plain classy paint scheme really does a lot.
I think so. I'm not a late model guy, so I don't like really the crazy late model paints, so to speak, but some of them look pretty good, but I like a plain, and yellow's a great color too, by the way. Yellow's fantastic.
Perfect example of those crazy late model paints would be, what was it, Bobby Pierce, I think 2 years ago at the World 100 where he had his Joker scheme. If anybody's, if you've not seen that, look that up. You look up, Google Bobby Pierce Jr. Joker paint scheme, and that is indeed a perfect example of what we are talking about.
Very busy.
So, front row here in heat race number 2, Braden Eiler. Kinzer Sim Team driver inside row number 1 with Brandon Steele to his outside. Anthony Lepresto and Brett Michalski. Michalski? Man, God, why do these guys do this to me every night? Kendall Tucker.
Gotta blame their parents.
Kendall Tucker, Lance Heinberger, row 3. And Mason Hannigan and William Duvall will be in row 4. Mikulski? It's got to be Mikulski. It's not Michalski.
I think that's what we go with.
All right, Mikulski is where we're going to go. Every night they throw a new name at me, and don't sit here and tell me they don't do it on purpose, because otherwise they could all run on one night and we could get it all out of the way in one night. No, it's absolutely, they do this to me deliberate, and it's bullshit.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
There you go. Braden Eiler and Brandon Steele front row. We are going green here for 10 laps. Top 3 will advance. Eiler, you see that? He's got his helmet painted up like an old school Simpson bandit. That's pretty cool. We're going green right here. Great start
for Eiler.
Yeah, he got out in front of Brandon Steele, but somehow Steele got a little bit of a boost there down the straightaway. He was able to take a look to the inside of the 005. Anthony Lepresto is the man in the final transfer spot. He's got Kendall Tucker all over him to the inside of the track, but the inside's already starting to slick off, Billy.
Yeah, and that's a nature of this racetrack too, where the bottom will start to slick off and it'll be run around the top, And then once the top starts wearing out, the bottom comes back in. So you have to be really mindful about where the track is at that exact time. And with this new build, I will say I've seen the track move around more speed-wise now than since I've had the game in over a year now. So it's way, way better in my opinion.
Boy, the slickness really bit Mason Hannigan. You saw him come off of turn 4, and that car shot to the outside across the nose of, who was that actually? It was the 173 of Mikulski, sorry. And we had our first yellow, and Hannigan is not happy, actually. I don't know that was really his fault. But he showed his displeasure with Mikulski there. Admins don't look too kindly to that sort of thing, but...
No, and it looks like Mr. Hannigan has gotten a DQ for the evening for the hitting under yellow.
Well, there you go. So that's going to be it for Mason Hannigan here tonight. Zero tolerance policy enacted at Volusia. And a little bit of afters under caution. Going to earn him a sit down. Braden Eiler is the man out front. Brandon Steele in second. Anthony Lepresto with the final transfer position right now. First caution we've seen this evening. This is quite a large, wide track that gives these midgets some space, which is actually pretty good for them. We saw a race a couple weeks ago where we had a lot of caution flags, and this track should be a track where we don't see too much of the beating and banging. These guys will have options and lanes and should be able to stay off of each other pretty well. But that is that's in a perfect world. We don't have a perfect world, so we're going to see what we get here. We're going back green, working lap 6. Braden Eiler gives it to him off of turn 4. Brandon Steele.
And we got one upside down going into 1. I don't know if yellow's coming out for it or not, but that was... Who was that? William Duvall. Yep. Upside down big on corner entry.
Now off the track, no caution out. We saw him out there flipping away. So that's going to be it for William Duvall here in heat race number 2. Lepresto still holding that third spot. Starting to do battle with Brandon Steele, who's working a lower line there. Kendall Tucker just waiting on one of these guys to make a mistake, but the laps are really winding down as those two nearly make contact coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, the track's kind of one lane right now. You have to be in the moisture in order to be fast. The bottom's not there yet. The top's still really good, so it's kind of going to take a Lepresto mistake or Tucker to make a pretty aggressive move to be able to get by him.
Well, Tucker is known for aggressive moves, so let's see how this final lap goes. Eiler, Steele on the wall and somehow able to keep it going. I mean, if you can drive on the wall, you might as well. Eiler's looking at the race win here. 2 more corners, and he's going to take it. Checkered flag off of turn number 4. Eiler, Steele, and Lepresto transfer on. And Kendall Tucker and Mikulski will move on to the B main here tonight. Peyton Grease in chat saying, "Rip Mason Hannigan." Zardul, a little bit of an oops there. We saw the oops. I give you points for style. That was a pretty fantastic little...
I must say that was pretty impressive. That was one Peyton Grease would even be proud of.
Yep. That one there is one that I'm, when I'm in VR, I close my eyes on that. I'm old enough to where I get dizzy, so if I start flipping, then my eyes are going closed. DW3100, thank you for the follow, my friend. We are getting ready for heat race number 3. 2 heat races left here tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. You could be watching the real Dirt Vision in the Knoxville Nationals. I myself do not pay the extensive amount of money to watch Dirt Vision itself. I really want to, but I don't know.
I will say you really should, and kind of as a segue here, that Dirt Vision is, in my opinion, a better broadcast now than what TNN was back in the late 90s to early 2000s.
Well, I think
at like their peak, Dirt Vision I think is a much better product, and it's all the races. It's all of them.
Here's the thing: in this day and age, when you're paying that much money because you are paying for them to get the experience, you're paying for the broadcast. Actually, you're paying for the production of it. Whereas, you know, any other thing, you know, like you pay $15 a month for your Netflix or your HBO, to where you get the final quality. The broadcast has already been paid for. But if they don't have enough subscribers on Dirt Vision, you're not going to get a broadcast. And that's kind of the thing. But, you know, so a lot of people like to support that. I myself haven't been able to bring myself to it yet, but I am.
I'll get you there. Don't worry. I'll get you there.
Trey Schmidt in the 12 on the pole. Todd LeBoob to the outside. James Tiernan, Nicholas McGathey, row number 2. Matthew McKinney, William Brickley, row 3. And Peyton Grease rounding out your field. Peyton, why does he always start last?
I think he's trying to get in touch with his inner James Edens.
Well, let's hope he doesn't get in touch with the inside retaining wall here tonight. Peyton Grease from the tail. Yep, that one hurts too. Trey Schmidt going to give him green here off of turn number 4. He's driving through the slick there, but got a really good start. I'll tell you who didn't get a good start. Todd LeBoob is going to go from 2nd to 4th. He's got the momentum here off of turn number 2. It's Matthew McKinney who is able to take away that transfer spot, and here comes Peyton. We talked about him starting dead last. Peyton is really good at the bottom of the racetrack, no matter what racetrack that is. And right now, he's finding some moisture down there. Been able to get up to the 4th position, and now he sets his sights on Matthew McKinney in the 195.
Yeah, and he's really, the key is keeping it all the way on the bottom and not letting the car, as long as the car has side bite to stay on the bottom, you're usually okay. Because like right there, when he missed the bottom a little bit, you lose a lot of momentum and a lot of speed. So as long as you can keep the car in the moisture, you're good.
And at Volusia, as you see him step out, that car just step out a little bit because he got his right rear into the slick. It really comes down to rotating the car quite a bit more than you normally would because of how wide and sweeping these corners are. You've kind of got to make that car rotate. And in the heat race, it's not so bad, but when you get to the feature and it's slick, you can have accidents going into turn 1 where somebody is trying to rotate to get to the bottom and another guy is diving into the corner, and all of a sudden you're on top of each other before you know it.
Yep, done that before multiple times. So it's easy to do. And as soon as you hit that the wall with your left front, it kind of sucks you in and you're in trouble.
James Tiernan sticking with our race leader, Trey Schmidt. Those guys kind of pulling a gap there on McKinney in 3rd. Peyton Grease still trying to battle him to get that transfer spot away. But the laps are winding down, and I think Tiernan might have a shot here. James Tiernan looking to the outside of Trey Schmidt. Trey's going to leave him some space. Down into turn number 1, Trey using that lower line, sliding up in front of Tiernan. You saw Tiernan kind of drive through the slick, and he lost that momentum that he had. As we said, this track very wide. It gives these guys options and room to race. 2 laps to go this time. And the caution flag's going to wave. That's going to be it for the heat race. Oh, no. Problem for Peyton Grease. Let's back this up and see what happened. Peyton's going to go into turn 3. Did he hit the inside wall?
He absolutely hit the inside wall. Yes, he did. And then Todd LeBoob got collected in there, and
really rough race for Todd. Yeah, that's
yeah, you go from starting starting in a transfer spot to looking at the back of a C main now. That it makes it tough.
Let me say this, that was not a heavy contact to the inside wall for Peyton. If that was a sprint car, it probably would have bounced off and not turned the car around. But the fact that the midgets are so light, that thing caught and just turned him straight around like he just threw an anchor. The reason, if you weren't watching last night, Peyton Grease was running very good in the 360 race on the bottom of the track at Lanier and hit the inside retaining wall, bringing a caution out to our attention as well. Trey Schmidt, James Tiernan, and Matthew McKinney will transfer here in heat race number 3. They're moving on to the A main. Nicholas McGathy and Todd LeBou. Actually, Todd LeBou got lucky there. That caution flag waved, but he was still 5th, so he'll earn a spot in the B main.
Yeah, sometimes those work out like that, and we'll have to see later on if he makes her into the show.
Heat race number 4 loading in now.
And this one's got a new guy on the pole, Glenn Reinhardt. He's kind of he's like a midget specialist. If you guys watch any or run any of the hosted races, he's always got a hosted race up for midgets, and he's lightning quick about everywhere too.
I can tell you what, he has got 3,963 I rating with an A 3.25 dirt license. That is not easy to do, let me tell you. So that is a highly skilled dirt driver when it comes to the official racing series. The DOB is a little bit different, and you'll hear guys talk about how different it is to run on slick tracks like this. But I would say the midgets, you still end up with a little bit more moisture than you were if you would go to a 360 or 410 race with the DOB, where it's going to be a big difference. So Glenn Reinhardt on the pole, Chance Crum to the outside. Second night in a row we've seen Chance Crum. Chris Roberts and John Lepresto, row number 2. Seth Cheney, Aaron Schaefer, row 3. Kenneth Dake Jr. and Skylar Castor rounding out your field. 10 laps the distance. Top 3 will advance. Peyton Grease in the chat saying, anyone want my iRacing account? I'm selling it. Poor Peyton. So we're taking 3 more to the A main. Gonna see who can do it. Reinhardt and Crum on the front row. We're going green here off of turn number 4. And we're off. Chance Crum to the outside, fighting off a charging number 93. That's Chris Roberts. Behind them, John Lepresto and Seth Cheney were side by side. Those two were able to sort it out. Lepresto goes to the bottom, and now Cheney to the outside in that 99, keeping the momentum up. Looks like the bottom in 1 and 2 is working a heck of a lot better than the bottom in 3 and 4, Billy.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon here either. The bottom in 1 and 2 is always pretty good early, and then at the end of the night, the bottom in 3 and 4 is extremely good. So that's one of the beauties of Volusia, where the track changes and the line changes.
Chris Roberts has the final transfer right now. John Lepresto trying to take it on the bottom. He's doing really well down there, but you could see Cheney with that space up top. He is able to get a charge on these boys as well. Something's going to have to give here momentarily, and I'm hoping that it doesn't come as a result of contact. Chance Crum trying to run down Glenn Reinhardt, who has led every lap of this heat race so far. Here's Lepresto sliding up the track. He's unable to get around the 93 of Roberts. Right now, Roberts seemingly has the preferred line, and every time Lepresto gets a run, that car starts sliding up the track, and he has to give way to avoid making contact with the 93. And now Lepresto says, let's try to get up the racetrack, see what this car has.
Yeah, momentum is everything in these cars. Absolutely everything. So if you let the car step out too much at the bottom, you're going to be in a world of trouble.
Chance Crum starting to fire away at our race leader. To the inside he goes, and he's got to run down the backstretch. The 183 looking to take the race lead. Move Chance Crum into the lead. He slides up the track. Can Reinhardt battle back? He gets to the inside. Slide job in 1 and 2. Reinhardt takes the lead once more. And Crum not giving up. Trading it back and forth here in heat race number 4. Crum going to put the slider on. Reinhardt fighting back. Those two side by side down the front stretch. 2 laps left in this race as the race lead is trading hands every single straightaway.
Yeah, and Chance Crum, if you didn't know, he's a micro sprint, and I believe he's been running some Focus midgets up in the upper Northwest here. Pretty damn good shoe. Saw him run Tulsa a few years ago and was pretty impressive out there. So good to see him getting it done on the sim too.
Getting it done in a big way here in heat race number 4. He's looking at the checkered flag. Chance Crum going to win. Glenn Reinhardt will come home in second. Chris Roberts third. John Lepresto will actually take 4th spot, even though he rode a wheelie all the way there and crashed after crossing the line. So we move on to tonight's C main. Let me check the laps here. And it is 10 laps. Why in the world it keeps lying to me about being a 12-lap race when it's a 10-lap race? I'll never know. Only 2 drivers going to advance here, Billy. And if you look, the B main, we're taking 8 from the B to the A, but only 2 drivers from the C to the B. So this is the race where it's going to be really hard to get through. And we've got some pretty quick cars out there, notwithstanding old Tyler Schell, who had a transfer spot in heat race number 1 before running into some issues.
Yeah, hopefully he packed her with enough fuel to run 10 laps. But no, these are races that it's extremely tough because only taking 2, you have to be aggressive early. But if you're starting in the back, you have to pick off a lot of cars super early in case there's a yellow. Because you basically get 2 yellows in this deal, you're pretty much, your race is over. So you really have to push and be very aggressive to get in that top 2, and then hope it just works out in your favor. So it'll be interesting to see what old Tyler does from the donkey of this thing.
William Brickley and Aaron Schaefer, your front row. Tim Burner and William Duvall, the second row 2. Peyton Grease, Kenneth Dake Jr., row 3. Robert Satterfield and Tyler Schell will be row 4. No, actually, Skylar Castor is going to be row 4, and Tyler Schell will be rounding out the field. Mason Hannigan and Brandon Igo not out there. Hannigan, of course, DQ'd for the evening. Brandon Igo just not making the call. So we are going green this time by, remember, it's only 10 laps. I know it says 12, but it's a 10-lap race, and we are taking 2 to the B main. So we are getting ready to go here off of turn number 4. William Brickley is going to give him green. Great start for Brickley, and we've got big problems.
Exactly what we were talking about that you don't want. That works out for a guy like Peyton Grease, who might end up, I think, 3rd, but if you're Tyler Schell, you really don't want to see it then. You want to be able to at least pick off a couple of cars before you burn a few laps.
Boy, that was William Duvall, who seemingly got out of shape on the front stretch. He made contact with, is that Satterfield? No, it's the 19 car of Tim Burner. He made contact with Burner and then shot to the outside wall, and Kenneth Dake had nowhere to go. So that is it for Kenneth Dake Jr. William Duvall in the pits as well. Those guys out in the early going. There's your top 10. Third place right now is Peyton Grease, who is up 2 spots. Tyler Schell made 5 spots off of that incident right there. Zardul, who is William Duvall, said he spun his tires. He's not meant to drive a midget, I think. Well, that's, I think, and William, that is, that's a deal where, you know, we talk about the DOB experience, and you'll find out that the biggest difference in driving a slick track with the dirty old bastards is the fact of throttle control itself. There are plenty of times where these tracks get pretty slick, or you run through the slick, where you might be half throttle, 3/8 throttle, and you're passing people, and that's just a thing that you learn throughout your DOB career. Everybody goes through it, so it's one of those things.
When you first come over, I ran a ton of official races, and moved into mainly running DOB and other leagues that are like it. And the throttle control that you have to learn almost screws you up for officials for that reason.
But I do believe it makes you a better driver. We've got another crash at the rear of the field. No caution, however. It is William Brickley out front. Peyton Grease was able to get around Aaron Schaefer, but Aaron Schaefer starting to battle back here. Grease looking for the race lead. He is not content with second place right now.
No, because I think he knows Tyler is on the move. And if you're running second, you're the sitting duck in this deal. So you need to get to first as quick as humanly possible.
There's
only 3 to go, and I'm not sure if Tyler can get up there in time.
Yeah, he is running out of time quickly. Remember, this is a 10-lap race, not a 12-lap race. Tyler Schell currently in 4th. He's got to get to the top 2 to advance. William Brickley still in the race lead. Peyton Grease trying to get around him there. Aaron Schaefer in 3rd, just looking for a mistake from one of these guys. Peyton going up the racetrack. Going to try to get his momentum up so that he can put a move in on the race leader. 2 laps left in this race. William Brickley's doing everything right at the moment. We're taking 2 from the C main, and if you get into the B, we're taking 8. So only 5 guys are going to go home from the B main. This is the race where you've got to perform and put yourself in a position to make it happen. William Brickley doing everything he needs to do. He'll be looking at the checkered flag coming off of turn 4. No mistakes here, and he will take it home. William Brickley will win the C main, and Peyton Grease from the middle of this field will be the final transfer into tonight's B main. JVav in the chat asking about how realistic is track progression on iRacing. I gotta say, if there's one thing that feels right about the dirt on this simulation, it is the feel of the track progressing throughout the night, and when it starts to slick off, it just, I remember the first time that I really felt like, you know, I felt something that I knew in real racing. I was at the USA Speedway, I think in a 360 sprint car race, and the track kept going up, cushion kept going up, 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 and in the center of the corner, because people were using that diamond line, it started to blow slick. So you would enter in the wet, drive through the slick, and then back into the wet, and the feel of it is just there. That's real racing type feel, and that is one thing that absolutely translates. So we are here for the B main. Remember, 8 cars will advance. Lance Heinberger not making the call for this race, so we will only send 4 drivers home. No, that's a lie. We're sending 3 drivers home. 12 cars in the race, so 3 guys will miss it. Now, let's talk about the starting lineup here. David Flick on the pole, Kendall Tucker to the outside, Nicholas McGathey and John Lepresto, row 2, Alexander Balducci and Brett Michalski, row 3, Todd LeBoux, Seth Cheney, Nathan Albright, and Peyton Grease, and William Brickley will round out your field. Billy, this is one of those things where 8 transfer, 3 go home. These guys have to be aggressive to make sure they're there, but they also have to make sure they don't make any silly mistakes and take themselves out of contention.
Yeah, it's important to move up in the feature with it, but not important enough to take yourself out. So, I mean, if you're sitting, you know, 5th or 6th and you're in the show, it's not really worth it to make a bonsai move to try to get forward. But if you're sitting, you know, 7th or 8th, yeah, it's essentially worth it to do.
David Flick out front in the early going. He goes over the cushion and gives Kendall Tucker a look, who will take the lead away. Lepresto 3 wide there with McGathey and the 288 of Alexander Balducci. Problem at the rear of the field. Is that Brickley? I believe it is. Our C main winner finding trouble in the early going here. Let's back it up and see what happened. Down the backstretch, you see Todd LeBoux in the 173 making contact. Peyton Grease catching the 94. Brickley really just an innocent bystander there. Unfortunate for him. He's going to lose the nose piece on that car, but maybe not too much damage to worry about. Whoop, yep, okay, well, I don't know if he was frustrated there in turn 1 or what that was, but he made contact with the turn 1 wall. Maybe he got a meatball and decided to finish it off. That's probably what it was.
More than likely, and it looks like Peyton's getting ready to go to the rear for that little mishap. I'll have to go back and watch it and see what the deal was there. I know Peyton was getting super. Yeah, I just went back and rewatched it. Peyton kind of hauled her in on the bottom and nerfed LeBeau out of the way.
I think Peyton probably fessed up to that one and said, hey, you know, I was involved and you know, took that. I don't really blame him for that one personally. I think that was just kind of a racing deal, but at least he's willing to stand up and say, hey, you know, this is partially my fault. So he'll take the end of line penalty. So Brickley is out. That means only 2 guys are going home that are still on the race course. Peyton Grease in 10th right now. He's the last car, and he has got to get around 2 cars to make it into tonight's A main. Kendall Tucker is going to have control of this race as we get back going. And we will take the green off of turn 4. Remember, this is a 12-lap race, not 14 laps like it says. And we will go green here as the pace truck pulls off. Great start for Tucker. David Flick in second. Lepresto over the cushion again. We've seen a couple of these guys really haul it into turn 1 and just not get the thing rotated going in. Not sure what's going on with that, Billy, but you know, clearly this track causing some issues here.
You're starting to get more fuel in the cars, so therefore in these, it's not like a sprint car to where it really doesn't change all that much. The fuel in these things, once you start adding it in, it changes your ride height so much that the front end starts coming up in the air even more.
I don't know if you're watching, Billy, but Peyton Grease is coming from the rear of this field. He restarted 10th, and he is 4th right now after 2 laps. Peyton Grease working his way into this race. There was one gentleman, it was Todd LeBeau, who had trouble. He's got damage on the front of that thing, and he needed a caution. He's going to get it. That's the 173 of Brett Michalski, who was upside down. Let's look here and see what happened. He's on the outside coming out of turn 2. He just drifts up and gets into the outside retaining wall and spun on his head like a top.
That's what we were talking about. It just, no matter, that backstretch wall will eat a car every time when it tags it.
Here's his view of it. You know, that I think he had control of it till he went in the slick, and all of a sudden the thing just didn't want to turn. And that might be another one of those things you were talking about. We're talking about larger fuel loads now. I am quite confident that played a part. So, there is your top 10. Todd LeBeau is the only man on the outside looking in right now. He needed that caution because he had a self-spin, I think it was. He was able to keep that car under control so the caution flag didn't wave, but he's got Seth Chaney in front of him, who is no slouch, that he has got to get around. A little bit of nose damage to LeBeau, but we are transferring 8 here. And we are going to restart with 2 laps to go. There will be 2 laps to go when we restart this time by. And we will determine who the final entries into tonight's A main event will be. So Kendall Tucker going to give him green here off of turn 4. 2 laps to go to decide it all. David Flick able to stay closer than he was the last time, but still a great start for Kendall Tucker. 3 wide for second place right now. Peyton Grease on the bottom. He has second. Lepresto's going to slide up the racetrack. We'll see if Grease can power off of 4 with the position. Lepresto able to pull side by side. White flag in the air. Kendall Tucker in first. Peyton Grease is charged from 10th to get to second. The battle for the transfer spot is what we're going to watch. This is Todd Laboon in no position to battle for that 8th spot. So Kendall Tucker is going to win. Peyton Grease will finish 2nd. Seth Chaney is the man taking the final transfer spot as we enter our 2-minute warm-up. Ladies and gentlemen, Wicked Energy Gum is a boost of energy, alertness, and focus in a chew. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to take effect and is a cheaper and healthier alternative to energy drinks and shots that fill you with calories and sugar. Wicked Energy Gum is made in the USA, and the best part of it all is that for every pack you buy, they make a donation to the Cognitive Warriors Foundation, who focuses on improving access to quality health care for active and former U.S. military men and women who suffer from depression and PTSD. Just go to wickedenergygum.com, use code DOBRL for 10% off your order and free shipping on race days. That DOBRL code also works on wickedreliefcbd.com for your daily dose of CBD as well. I don't know about you, Billy. I was not a CBD guy until I tried the Wicked Relief Gum, and I absolutely enjoy it 100%.
I'm a huge believer in the gum, very huge believer. As a guy that drank, well, you know, I have the tendency of going to races when I shouldn't, and like 3 hours away on work nights, and that's actually helped me quite a bit, especially to get off of the energy drinks, and make me not as fat as I once was. So it's been a big help and a good partnership. Matt Hettinger is a good guy and got a couple of really good products. And be sure to head to Wicked Energy Gum and wickedcushion.com and pick yourself up some swag and some gum and feel better and energized.
Chris Roberts is the man who had the fastest lap there in the warm-up. Trey Schmidt was 2nd. 3rd place, Braden Eiler. Those were the men. Look at Dale Jr. there, a fan outside of the track with his arm raised. Probably can't even see the race, but good to see. Good to see Dale Jr. here at the virtual Volusia Raceway.
Yeah, I don't even know why he's standing there. That just seems like a really bad spot.
Like, what are you doing? But hey, he's excited about it. That's good. Always good to see. I love me some Dale Jr. Great guy. And we were talking energy drinks. Those energy drinks, they worry me, bro. I'm telling you, like 35 years down the road, you know how you get those lawyers that throw those commercials out there that are like, have you ever drinking a Monster Energy and now have intestinal problems? You may be entitled to compensation. I'm telling you, that's coming. That's coming. So
Man, I hope not. Just because I don't like lawyers.
No, it's coming, brother. That's why people need to switch to the gum, because the gum doesn't have the rest of the bullcrap. It's 100 milligrams of caffeine with none of the bullcrap. So,
agreed.
Brent Hobson on the pole here for the A main. 35 laps the distance. Caution flag laps will not count. Hobson has Braden Eiler to the outside. Trey Schmidt and Chance Crum. Alex Smolders, Brandon Steele, James Tiernan, Glenn Reinhardt, Michael Klinkelfuss, Anthony Lepresto, Matthew McKinney not making the call here to this race. That's unfortunate to see. It will be Kendall Tucker and Chris Roberts, John Lepresto and Peyton Grease, Alexander Balducci and David Flick, Nicholas McGathy and Nathan Albright, and Seth Chaney going to round out your field here. The DOB Wicked Energy Gum Midget Series getting ready to do battle at the virtual Volusia Speedway Park. 81 degrees here. This track is suffering from that heat, but it will change so much throughout this feature. We've not seen anything as far as track degradation until this race right here. So you can bet that these guys are going to have to start searching to be able to stay up front or get up front here tonight in this 35-lap race. We are going green off of turn number 4. The Kenny Rogers Gambler car on the pole with Brent Hobson behind the wheel. He's giving him green. Boy, Braden did not get a great start there, Billy. We are down into turn 1. Trey Schmidt and Alex Smolders able to get around the 005, and Schmidt's going to look for the lead. Trey Schmidt.
And you can tell there's a bunch of guys back in the field that are set up a little bit different. The front ends of their cars way up in the air. It's not a really good balance with fuel in it.
Eiler back to the bottom of the track. He's working Hobson now, currently sitting in 4th. He's got James Tiernan coming up behind him as well, and Eiler's going around.
Was that the turn 1 wall that bit somebody else?
We're going to have to take a look at this and see.
Braden looks like he just spun it out on his own on corner entry. I'm not sure what in the world happened there.
That thing, I don't know if it hit a bump and took a set, but all of a sudden, it had that drive and never stopped. Let's go in-car. Wow, that's really weird. And I'm sure Braden's thinking the same thing. Really unfortunate for Braden because he's back to 19th now, but the car did stay on all 4 wheels, so he doesn't have any damage.
Yeah, I don't even think he hit anything, truthfully. So, I mean, if you're going to spin, it's good to do that now before lap 30. So that way you've at least got time to move back forward, and with no damage, hey, no harm, no foul, hopefully.
You see the top 10 there. James Tiernan up 3 to 4th. John Lopresto up 6 spots already. Kendall Tucker trying to come with him. White flag lap moves to lap 38. Lap 38 is when we will see the white flag fly. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us on Twitch. We are live on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv. Also live on the DOB Facebook and YouTube pages. And remember, we've got another race after this one, so don't go anywhere. We will have the Wingless 360 sprints at Volusia as well, the final race in our Wingless Wednesday here for the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League. We're going green this time. Trey Schmidt out front, Alex Smolders second. Brent Hobson, the man who started on the pole, currently in 3rd. See what these guys can do. Schmidt's already got a win in midget competition, and he was able to sweep that evening with the 360 win as well. So we'll see what he can put together here tonight at virtual Volusia. Wow, look at Tiernan making a charge on the outside. He has Hobson there. Not a whole lot of room. That car nearly making contact with the outside retaining wall.
James is extremely fast right now. His biggest thing is he's just kind of trying to clear the car in front of him, and he's just got to be patient and stick with it, and he'll be able to get up.
That is typically Tiernan's Achilles heel. He's got a very fast car, but he has time to get to the front, and sometimes he forgets that.
Yeah, these are long races, and especially if you run a lot of officials, you're only running 30 laps, and with cautions, you may only get 10 green flag laps, where in these, you're guaranteed 35 greens. So really just have to be patient on your lap count and realize how much of the race you still have left.
And it is a balancing act, too, because you've got so many fast drivers. These are pro-level drivers here in this league. And if you are not trying to be aggressive, you will have people who will get those positions on you, and all of a sudden you are behind them if the yellow comes out. So it's kind of a balancing act. You've got to be aggressive, but not stupidly aggressive, I guess the word would be. Tiernan now with the slide job here on Hobson. He's got to the outside of the 181. Hobson now putting the slider in 1 and 2. Tiernan getting a little bit out of sorts. So this is the battle for 3rd right now. Trey Schmidt is pulling away in the distance. You can see Alex Smolders right there in front of the 98. We will stay with this one right now. See the different lines being employed by these guys. How long till that top gets so high that the bottom's really going to come in, Billy?
I think it's pretty close, honestly, now. I would say another 5 or 6 laps. Because it looks like through the majority of the field, a lot of the guys are running around the fence. It just really depends on if somebody's making a charge on the bottom, which probably, I haven't looked back, but if Peyton Grease is running the bottom, if he goes around somebody, more than likely they're going to head back to the bottom. So that line might even be wearing out a little bit more, so it might stay around the rim. That's the beauty of the way that this build is now, the way that the track wears in. It just makes the racing really good.
There is Peyton Grease doing battle with Glenn Reinhardt and the 71 of Lepresto right now. He has made his way to 10th in this race. See Reinhardt trying to get back under him there. That is John Lepresto in the 71. Anthony Lepresto is actually a couple of cars ahead doing battle with Brandon Steele. It looks like James Tiernan still battling it out with Hobson. Hobson burying it into the cushion there. Lost a lot of time. He's going to try to fight back, come in here into turn 3, but oh, problems!
There's that daunting infield wall. If you get in there too hard for a slider, it'll always... He's got lucky, though. It probably knocked the toe out of that thing.
Ooh, caution flag going to wave. I tell you what happened, I think Hobson knew that his entry was so tight. The angle was so straight there that he was going to hit Tiernan, so he lifted, and all of a sudden that car kind of shot to the inside. So it was Hobson being a heads-up driver that actually caused him some problems there.
And speaking of that, the yellow, Alex Smolders, your second place guy.
Was it Smolders?
Did the exact same thing going into turn 1. We talked about it earlier. The turn 1 wall will bite you pretty quick.
Ooh, man, and that's some pretty good contact there, too. Able to keep it going. Now, as you know, when the caution flag waves, the field is frozen, but the DOB will actually ask people to claim caution. So if they bring it out, when you claim a caution, you go to the rear of the field, and that is what has happened with Alex Smolders. So he was able to spin it and keep it going, but because he brought the caution out, he had to claim it, and he now is shown in the 18th position. So from 2nd to 18th in one little issue there. Very unfortunate for Alex Smolders. This is the second caution of the race. White flag lap moves to lap 41. And look who's in second place now. He got around Hobson, and all of a sudden, James Tiernan is looking at the back of the race leader.
Yeah, with 20 to go, it's definitely possible. He's just basically got to stay with him and either hope for a mistake or see what the car actually has now that he's got a kind of a relatively clear track in front.
The only driver not showing up on our list in 9th is Peyton Grease. For whatever reason, he never shows up on our list. I did say that James Edens was the same way, and I confirmed that Edens is a spy. I don't think Peyton is a spy, but we are going to go back green here, this time working lap 22. Trey Schmidt with a good start there over Tiernan. Tiernan going to go to the high side, trying to get that momentum up. Brandon Steele! The exact same thing. Exact same thing happening here to Brandon Steele, and he's trying to get that car back on 4 wheels. I don't think it's going to happen. Let's back it up. Yep. I mean, a carbon copy of Smolders' deal, except Steele, it didn't spin him, it flipped him. Unfortunate for Brandon, because he had a good car. I think he was running 5th or 6th at the time. Let's see here. That is going to move the white flag back to lap 44. It was 4th. He was running 4th, wasn't he? Man, really unfortunate for Brandon Steele. That inside wall biting people here tonight. Let's give you a rundown of what we're looking at. Anthony Lepresto up 6 spots. John Lepresto up 8. Kendall Tucker up 7. Michael Klinkelfuss holding on to that top 10 spot right now. We got a pretty good racetrack here, Billy. It's giving these guys options, but as we look, that cushion gets higher and higher every lap, which is going to allow those low and middle lanes to start coming in.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Trey went to the bottom in 1 and 2, and Tiernan went to the top. I figured, honestly, it was going to be the other way around. We'll see if Tiernan goes back to the top and see. I think what he's trying to do is get enough momentum to where he can actually throw the slider and clear it.
Green flag is out here, working lap 26. This time, Tiernan going to run the slider line through 1 and 2, and actually it kind of pays off for him. He's staying with the leader, Schmidt.
I think the slider line is really the fast way around right now, as long as you can keep it straight and control the wheel spin through the slick. I think that's going to be the fast way around here right now.
Yeah, I think race leader Trey Schmidt agrees with you. That's what he's utilizing right now as well in both ends of the racetrack. Tiernan trying to keep that momentum up. Problem for Chance Crum. He's got a couple of cars battling it out with him there. Lepresto puts the slide jump in. Yeah. Not a whole lot of space out there. Crum's able to keep it going, but he is not going to be happy with that. Fed a right rear, and Klinkelfuss is over. All right, let's take it back. I got a couple of things I want to look at here. Let's look at Klinkelfuss, who's doing battle here with Glenn Reinhardt. You can see Crum come down. Yeah, see, Reinhardt was trying to get out of the way of Crum's issue. He came down the track not realizing that Klinkelfuss had a big run on him and made contact there. You can't put a whole lot of blame on him. I want to take a look at Chance Crum here, and we're going to watch it from the cockpit. Here comes the 57. He saw him all the way. I think Chance thought that Lepresto was going to give him a little more space, Billy, but maybe shouldn't have used a little bit of patience. What do you think?
I would definitely go on the patience route. There becomes a point, if somebody's cleared you by that much, if they're next to you there, I understand that move, but I mean, it's easy to sit here and play Monday morning quarterback on it, because I honestly probably would have done the same thing Chance did, but it's just one of those things where you have to, you just have to gauge, is it worth losing a spot and living to race another day, or, because he probably hurt that car. Well, it looks like he's parked now.
Yeah, he is. He is parked in the infield.
It was a hard enough hit. It really wasn't. It didn't pay off. So it's kind of one of those things. You live and you learn.
Nathan Albrecht, a new name in that top 10. He is up 8 spots in this race. Started way back. So now we got to keep our eyes on that 57. Anthony Lepresto has made his way forward in this race, and he is now in a position to start the challenge for the race lead. 47 is our new number. That's when the white flag will fly. We're going back green here. We've seen a rash of cautions. We'll see if we can get everything sorted out.
And we got another one coming to the green. That was I'll be real honest. In my opinion, that was a piss poor start on the back of the.
Well, I went too far.
The back row started it kind of all started really with Grease. I'm not saying necessarily it's his fault, but he started to go, and then everybody else thought the green was already out, and they just stacked it.
Here's what we're talking about. Goodness gracious. It's that Balducci.
Yeah, and that's the big problem with rolling starts. When you roll starts like that, you always take that risk. If you time it way wrong, you're in a lot of trouble. So the unfortunate thing is that took out a few pretty good cars.
Yeah, every once in a while, guys start easy for me to say. They start holding back and trying to hit that gas and get a run on guys on the start, which, when you do it right, works out really well because you do not get penalized by making moves on the outside once the green flag has flown. But if you pass on the inside, you can get a black flag, which is when these guys started getting off the gas, and you saw Balducci had to make some evasive maneuvers, which put him into the infield tires and out of this race. So we will go once more. Lap 50 becomes our white flag lap. So we should have 15 laps to go here once we take the green. Trey Schmidt has had a lot of restarts to worry about. We'll see if it starts to take its toll. Much better start this time. Tiernan putting the slide line into play, but he comes off the corner with a little bit of a bike, and Lepresto has closed the gap. Hobson trying to battle back on the inside. Kendall Tucker right there as well. Boy, Schmidt looks really strong, though, Billy. He is pulling away.
Yeah, this is pretty much a race for second right now. I think Trey's just hooked up and absolutely gone. Kendall Tucker's back there. Looks like he's squeaking into fourth. But I think all these guys are pretty much about the same speed. Trey's in a different time zone right now.
Yeah, Trey is turning the fastest laps in this race. Kendall Tucker right there with him. Peyton Grease turning in some good laps, too. Grease, I believe, is currently in 7th. He's on the high side of the track right now. Ooh, squeezing through there on the backstretch. Wow, nearly making contact there with the 32. Race for second has settled down a little bit. Tiernan's been able to get a gap on the 57. Tucker is the man looking to make a move there for third. Laps winding down here. As they cross the line, there will be 10 laps to go.
And I would say Tiernan's got to be careful with that slider line because he's really starting to get the car loose through the entire slick, and it's killing your forward drive off the corner as both Lepresto and Tucker are on the move. You just have to really, really be careful.
Caution flag out. We're going to go on board here with Tiernan just to see what kind of throttle control he is utilizing. Let me find out what happened here. Problem was with Nathan Albrecht. Nicholas McGathey had an issue there going into 3. Albrecht caught him at the wrong time. I do believe that he has parked that car as well. Not sure if it's got damage or he's just retiring. But that is it for Nathan, who had a good run going there. He had worked his way into the top 10. McGathey right now in 9th. So that was where that incident happened. Lap 53 becomes our white flag lap. You can see Tucker, Lepresto, and McGathey, your hard chargers right now. But everybody looking at Trey Schmidt drive off into the distance. Wingless 360 series coming right after this race. We are in the waning laps here at Volusia. We will be right back after this race is over. How's it going, Rex? We're going green here, working lap 45. Tiernan to the bottom of the racetrack, and he's going to try to stay in front of Lepresto. You saw that car step out there coming out of 2.
That's what I was talking about earlier. That slider line can be effective as long as you can keep the car straight. And James likes to run his cars pretty sideways normally. Up contact on the front straightaway.
I wonder if maybe that bottom side might be an option for some of these guys at the moment. I think Tiernan might take a look at it right here. That's still working that slider line.
And don't be sleeping on old Peyton right now. Peyton's flirting into the top 3.
And Peyton is a guy that likes that bottom too, but he's been working the high side. He's around both Leprestos there and Kendall Tucker, who had that contact issue. So Peyton Grease from mid-pack has made his way through to the top 3. Now it's John Lepresto who he's doing battle with there for the final spot on the podium.
Lepresto with the big old boy slider thrown into the... Oh, and the caution comes out at the perfect time for Mr. Lepresto.
Yeah, he's going to have that 3rd spot, and he's going to be able to get up on the back bumper of Mr. Tiernan. There was a sizable gap there between 2nd and 3rd. Let me back this up and see if we can figure out where the caution came in. There it is. Is that... It's McGathey. So on the outside of Brandon Steele there, they're going to make contact off of turn 2. That sends him into the outside wall and over. And that's some of the contact that we were warning everybody about. That's pretty typical of Volusia.
Yeah, that's not a... I mean, it doesn't make it right, but that's not a uncommon occurrence here at this racetrack.
All right, white flag moves to lap 56. We should be working 52 when we go back green. John Lepresto up 12 spots to 3rd. Does he have anything for Tiernan and Schmidt? Tiernan was starting to hang with Schmidt a little bit there, but Trey seemingly gets that good restart. So I think really, if we want to see a battle for the lead, Tiernan is going to have to come up with some way to stay on the back bumper of that 12 here on this restart, which, Billy, can create some problems if he mistimes it.
Exactly. If he lifts, it can create an accordion effect throughout the field, and that's just something you don't want to do. And we'll just have to see how it goes. And especially if somebody from the back tries to do the same thing, you can see Peyton kind of not laying back, but trying to roll it and get a decent start. See, and just like that, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Peyton
mistimed it, and Tiernan didn't have a bad one, but Trey Schmidt had a great one. Schmidt,
yeah,
out front. Tiernan is there. He's in distance. Lepresto in 3rd. Has lost a little bit of that time. Tiernan now going to the bottom. Did not really work for him. He lost a lot of time there. He might be kicking himself on that one. You know, you applaud a guy for trying something different to see if he can find what it takes to get around that guy who's pretty fast up front. But as you saw, trying to work that bottom, he just went through the slick a little bit, and it cost him some time on the race leader. We've got 3 laps left in this race. Kendall Tucker and Lepresto were swapping wheels there on the front stretch, able to keep going. Chris Roberts, and that's a 71. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there coming out of turn 4. Caution flag going to wave.
But I think that was the white flag lap, so they're going to race this one out.
All right, so we are coming. We're going to have to get word from our admins. No, I don't think so, actually.
No, actually, I think we got 1 lap. I think we're going to have a 1-lap shootout. Because I believe that was they were coming to the white flag when that came.
We should be in green-white checkered position now. That's what I think we're going to see. Because they will extend this to a green-white checkered finish. That's what we've been doing here recently. in the DOB. As Billy said, if the leaders have taken the white and the caution flag waves, you do race to the finish.
And there it is, green-white checker finish coming up here.
All right, so here we go. It is Peyton Grease who is now in third. John Lopresto had a little bit of a problem there, lost a couple of spots. Tiernan's going to have one more shot. Green-white checkered here to finish this race. We saw Tiernan try the bottom through 3 and 4. He learned real quick that that wasn't going to help him. Lights will go out on the pace truck this next time by. Is Tiernan or Grease going to have a shot here, Billy?
I don't know if Peyton does, but I think Tiernan does if he times the start right. And I think if he hangs with him down the backstretch, if he doesn't get impatient. It's one of those things. Do you throw the slider at first opportunity, or do you try to build a little bit of momentum up and throw it then? So it'd be interesting to see what his mindset is here at the end of this.
It's going to be real interesting because if he gets a run in 1 and 2, there is more moisture there for that slider line. We're going to see. We're going green this time. Green-white checkered here for all the marbles in the Wicked Energy Gun Midget Series.
And James hung with him on the start there. It's so hard to. The pole sitter's got such an advantage that it's hard to make up that time. But if James is smart with this, he might be able to at least throw something.
You can see Tiernan doing everything he possibly can. Peyton Grease.
Kendall Tucker he chucked a slider on Peyton and Peyton got to eat a right rear there. That's unfortunate for Peyton coming from the back like that.
We are racing it out. Trey Schmidt coming to the checkered flag. He is going to win. James Tiernan second. And third place will go to Kendall Tucker. Let's back this up and get a look at the replay at what Billy was talking about there. Peyton goes down into turn 3. Tucker with the big slide job. He's going to come across and make contact with the left front of Peyton Grease.
Yeah, I don't. That's I don't know. That one to me seemed a little unfortunate.
I think from what I've seen recently, one of the things that the admins really look at is if the driver can see them in the slider. And it looked like Kendall Tucker, although not quite clear, he was just in front of Peyton, and then Peyton's left front ran up over the right rear. The fact that he could see him, the admins might decide
and I think one of the biggest things that people really, really have to remember on this is that not everybody's using VR and not everybody's using triple monitors. So it's extremely hard to see a slider coming, especially that late, because by the time that you see that slider coming, you can't react to it. And especially if you're already on the top side of the racetrack, it's extremely hard.
It's a complicated decision here for the admin. I'll tell you of something that was complicated but didn't look like it. Trey Schmidt, the winner of the DOB Wicked Energy Gun Midget Series here at Volusia. We've got Trey in the broadcast booth. Trey, my man, you made it look easy out there. I know it wasn't, but you took the lead early and you never looked back. Talk about that race and how it feels to take victory again here in the Midget Series.
Yeah, it feels really good when you see a list of names you got to scroll down and then you're on top at the end of the night. But it feels pretty good.
First driver, I do believe, to take a repeat victory here in the Wicked Energy Gun Midget Series this year. Volusia is one of those tracks that we don't see very often when it comes to the midgets, but it looked like it gave everybody a lot of options. Seemed like that slider line was working really pretty well for you, but you had a lot of cautions, so restarts that you had to figure out. Did you ever feel like the pressure was on, or were you pretty confident in what that car had?
No, I mean, if someone was going to get me, they were going to get me on the first lap or two of one of those restarts. But my time was kind of just increasing every lap we got in. So I knew the car was good, but yeah, I wish it would have went a little bit longer green runs there. We had a couple good ones, and but awesome race, awesome group of guys.
Now, Trey, the last time you took victory in the midgets, you backed it up with a wingless 360 win here. Are you going to go out on a limb and say that you're sweeping tonight as well?
I didn't even know that. I guess we're going non-wing next, if I hear you correctly.
That's
I might
right.
do that. So, am I allowed to answer? Yeah, I'll probably be there. But yeah, I remember that at Lima Land. That was a pretty cool night.
All right, Trey Schmidt wasn't even sure we had a second race, but now that he hears it, he says, all right, we'll give this deal a shot. Congratulations, Trey, and good luck going forward, my friend.
Yeah, thank y'all, and thank you, broadcast, and Chris for putting this on. He's got a stout field here.
So there you have it from the race winner, Trey Schmidt, here tonight. James Tiernan was the man who came home second in this race. James, you started 7th. You had to claw your way through the field, but you had a pretty fast race car that made it a little easier on you.
Absolutely. I didn't really have to do that much besides kind of avoid the people getting closer and closer. Really, the only person that went smaller and smaller was Trey, and all props to him. He did a hell of a run. Towards the end, I felt like I could stay with him a lot better, but just not enough to really get past him. So all props to him. He had a hell of a race, but really happy with that. I think it was all decided back in that heat race when couldn't get around him, and then from there I couldn't get around him in the feature as well. So overall, really good night for the Elbows Up crew. At least second for me, which is kind of nice.
It looked like that track changed a lot there throughout the feature. You were making waves on the bottom there for a good while, then started working the top, and finally the slider line seemed to be the preferred way around. Talk about how you were able to make those adjustments throughout the race and continue to pass cars when everybody was struggling with the same thing, trying to find that traction.
Again, that all goes back to the crew at Elbows Up. So we've done fantastic jobs. We made leaps and bounds in terms of setups this past season. So really, I just chalk it up to the car. I'm kind of a monkey with the lead foot. I kind of just stomp the throttle and try to find the moisture. But overall, I felt like I did a good job just keeping her straight. And honestly, Volusia is a great racy track. We've seen really good races here. A little more cautions than we normally like to see, but I think overall this was still a pretty good race, especially up front. Everyone was, for the most part, clean from what I saw. I didn't quite see that last little incident, so I'm not going to weigh in on it. But, Volusia, just the way that banking works, the outside's good to a certain extent, then it gets back to the bottom, then it kind of comes back to the top. So it's definitely an interesting mix.
Well, that's a good finish for you here tonight. It's going to give you a shot to enter the top 5 in points once again. You are top 5 in points when it comes to the Wingless 360s, which is coming up next. How do you feel about your chances going into this next race?
Honestly, we'll see what everyone else has. I kind of did my homework a little bit on this one, but you never know quite with your luck. But I think you might be talking to me again, so we'll see.
James Tiernan throwing the gauntlet down, saying you're not hearing the last of him yet tonight. Thank you, sir. Congratulations on that second place finish, and good luck going forward.
Thanks, man. I'll see you in about, an hour. Sound good for you?
I think that sounds about right. We'll see how it goes here. So we are getting ready to go live with our second race of the evening here. We will bring out the Wingless 360s at Volusia Speedway. If you are watching on the DOB Facebook channel, we will be restarting the feed, so there will be a new video for you to click on. If you're watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. Nothing will change for you here. But we do have another complete event coming up here momentarily, so we hope you stick with us and hang out. As we said, we are going to shut down the video here on the Facebook page, so we will have a new video for you here momentarily, and we hope you stick with us.
All right, I'll set you guys around.
Good luck, sir. We are back live on the DOB Facebook page. Currently waiting on the opening of the lobby here for the non-wing series, the Pure Cornhole League and Tournaments Wingless 360 Sprint Series. We are live on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv, live on the DOB Facebook and YouTube pages. Momentarily, we should see that lobby come to fruition here. Actually, I think we're live right now, so I'm gonna
get. It would appear that it's up. We're on pace for you to go to bed early tonight.
Well, we're close. We're close.
We're closer than we're gonna be tomorrow. We'll put it that way.
Well, yeah, we saw quite a few cautions there. In the midget race, we were doing really well before we got those cautions, so we're a little bit of a setback here, but we are working on it. It is likely the fields for race number 2 are normally a little lower, and the fields for the non-wing stuff is normally lower anyway, so we'll have to see how many race cars we get here. I know that we will be absolute top-notch quality. You got to remember right now the non-wing cars are currently qualifying for their Pro League. USAC, in conjunction with iRacing, is putting on a Pro Series, which they are currently qualifying for in this current season of iRacing.
And not to interrupt, but we got some drama going on at Knoxville right now.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Donnie Schatz with an engine change after the heat race.
Where did he finish in that heat race?
I don't know. I was broadcasting midgets at the time, so I wasn't paying close enough attention to it. But, yeah, it was I know he didn't Knoxville's going to be an interesting year.
So that's interesting. I wonder if he did well and felt like that engine was going away and what that means for his starting position in the future.
It is my dream in life to be able to come in off a racetrack and go, no, this one doesn't
I don't like that. Yep.
Go get me another one. That's go get me another $65,000 bullet rope. Oh, and then change it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, right? So, we have 6 minutes left in practice here for the Pure Cornhole League and Tournaments Wingless 360 Sprints. I have pulled up the series stats for the AMSOIL USAC Sprint Car National Championship, where these guys are qualifying for the Pro League here that is coming up momentarily. Now, let's take a look here. James Edens is currently leading the pro standings, or the qualifying standings here for the Pro League. He is out front. Cole Cabre, Vinny Sansone, Alex Smolders in 5th. Chase Cabre, Trey Schmidt in 9th. Let's take a look here. David Heileman, Justin Thomas, James Tiernan, which we will see in action here momentarily. Nathan Davis, Adam Elby, Anthony Lepresto, Cole Newhoffen is out there on track right now. So you can see a lot of these guys who are currently in line to earn a pro license for the 410 non-wing sprint series will be doing battle here tonight as well. Skylar Brown, we've seen him take victory here in this series this season. So keep it, you can see the names out there, and a lot of those names will be doing battle here in this event. So we'll keep track of that as we go forward. Now, I also want to bring to your attention the current standings in the Pure Cornhole League and Tournaments Wingless 360 Series. Braden Eiler right now is your top of the table points leader, 47 points ahead of Brent Hobson. Chris Roberts in third, James Tiernan fourth, and Anthony Lepresto round out your top 5. Tiernan and Lepresto have taken victory here in the non-wing series. This is a 35-lap event here tonight. And we will be getting going momentarily. Not too many cars signed up right now. A lot of people watching Knoxville. We're getting into the wee hours of the evening.
Yeah, which is weird because Volusia is one of the better racetracks for a non-wing car. I truthfully believe. So still be a good race no matter what.
James Tiernan right now is P1 in practice. Leaf says he's going to try his hand at some non-wing sprint cars here. Second place right now belongs to Braden Eiler, your points leader. Third place, Tyler Schell. Fourth place, Cole Newellhoffen. Nicholas McGathy is currently fifth. I was going to say, though, that Donnie Schatz deal, you know, if he has a good finish in the heat, maybe he's made the feature. I'm sure that means he's going to have to start at the rear of the field.
The way that they were scrambling, it kind of seems like they are in the B, which for Donnie and Knoxville is not all that unusual, but Indiana's own Zach Hampton stuffed her in the fence pretty good in the C, so it looks like they got a little bit more time here, but it seems like they're about done with the engine change. Getting the radiator and the fittings bolted in right now, filling her up with water, and probably ready to fire that thing off here in a minute or two.
How slick is the track? Is he going to be able to charge from the back of that thing? Because as soon as you think you've got Donnie down, all of a sudden he's like bam and just punches you right back in the face.
There's a couple things you don't ever bet against, and Donnie's one of them at Knoxville. You just
Tom Brady's the other. Tom Brady and Donnie Schatz. Don't bet against them.
Tom Brady and Donnie Schatz. If it's in a championship scenario, I'm not betting against them. And Cody Swanson in a Silver Crown car. You don't bet against them.
Looks like we got 15 cars right now. We are currently 2 minutes away from the end of the practice session. Watch Todd LeBoux here. Let's go ahead and ride along with him.
And I must say that somebody just went, who was that? Oh, that was League's own Chris Roberts trying to get in the pits and just knocked her out of the ballpark going down the front straightaway.
Zardul saying, this is a bad idea. I only seem to get a couple of laps at a time before I wall it. You can see how much LeBoux is out there working. Here's a 257 old school Clausen scheme. So around this time 3 years ago, he had his accident in Belleville, wasn't it?
Yeah, today is actually
today is the damn day, isn't it?
Today is the day that it was announced that he had passed. So,
Jesus.
It's amazing how time flies. It honestly, truthfully feels like it was yesterday for me. I won't ever forget where I was. I was actually up in Peru, Indiana, helping out a buddy of mine, on his micro, and we ended up winning the feature, and we're having a few beers, and I had a few people text me afterwards saying, you know, what in the world happened at Belleville, and you know, the night of joy from winning up there just kind of turned into the night of sadness. So.
Still makes me sick to this day. Of course, we had the privilege, both of us got the chance to race with Brian, good friends with him. A great
Very
guy.
tough competitor.
You know, he done it all in the sport, was still very down to earth. And even afterwards, you know, changing the world as an organ donor and changing a lot of people's minds on organ donation, period. I am now an organ donor because of that man himself.
So am I. So am I.
And that's
I
something.
think that's a lot of...
Yeah, that's something everybody should look into as well. In his honor, I believe it's a good way to continue his legacy.
On a good note, Dale Jr. is still hanging out at the racetrack.
Is he still there? Does he still
Dale
have his
Jr.
arm in
is
the air?
Still there. Yeah, he's got to be getting tired.
God, he's
Like,
ripped, man. He's like, to be able to hold your arm up in the air that long. He's partying pretty hard here at the virtual Volusia Speedway. James Tiernan, quick time right off the bat, 1:4.755 lap 1. His teammate Tyler Schell goes to second quick. See what James has here on lap number 2. Not any quicker. Gonna hop over here to Cole Newhoff and see what he's got on lap 1. Cole, very good in these non-wing cars. 1:4.810. He takes second spot. Trey Schmidt has gone P7 with a 1:5.155. Gonna take a look here. Cole Newhoffen unable to better his lap. Kendall Tucker in the Swindell Speed Lab machine. I believe that was the green flag for Kendall. He's probably only going to get 1 lap here because we are 20 seconds away from the checkered flag. So we'll see what he's got. 1:4.955. That's 8th quick for Kendall Tucker. So it looks like Mr. James Tiernan going to be on the pole tonight. Cole Newhoff in second. Tyler Schell third. Checkered flag did wave. Kendall Tucker actually bettered his second lap there, but it did not count because the checkered flag had gone. P5 not bad at all, Leaf.
No, not at all. I'd already be upside down on the fence 12 times by now. That's why I'm here instead of on the racetrack.
So, 2 heat races here tonight with our, what I believe is 15 cars. Actually, it's got to be more than that because heat race number 1 has 9.
Yeah, I think Peyton and Brandon Steele joined in right as soon as qualifying was getting over. So they're probably going to have to tag the tail of the main, if I had to guess. So
small field here tonight, but it's going to be a good one, no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cars, though. Prestos are really fast. Tucker's fast. Tiernan's fast. And then for some odd reason, Chris Roberts will be up there towards the end of the feature anyway, too, once the track slicks off. So it'll be a good race.
So technically we are taking 4 to tonight's feature.
Yeah, technically we're taking 4, but everybody will go to the main. So
yeah,
basically you're just essentially at this point fighting for your starting spot. This will essentially be at this point it'll be the inside row.
Do you think we'll actually get a B main? Will they run it just to determine position, or you think they'll?
Actually they might run a B. Sometimes iRacing does that. Sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on. I think it depends on how the race server's set up. But I'm trying to remember in the past if we've had to run B mains or not. And we might have had to.
I have to see what happens here. Peyton Grease still trying to get loaded in. He is not showed up yet, and I think this heat race is going to roll without him. Doesn't hurt him too bad like we were talking. He's still going to make tonight's feature, but not going to be able to earn himself a better starting position for that feature. Let's talk about the lineup. Anthony Lepresto in the 57 has Dawson Hess to his outside. Tyler Schell, James Tiernan make an all elbows up Sim Sport second row. Trey Schmidt and Nicholas McGathy. Schmidt, of course, took victory in the midget race here tonight. And rounding out your field will be Aaron Schaefer and Brent Hobson. Yeah, that's what we're looking at, Zardul. We might see a B, which I kind of, you know, I understand. Let's try and give these guys a second chance to determine their starting spot, but I'd like to see it just set off of the heat race. As Billy said, this will set the inside row for tonight's feature. And we're gonna have to, you know, we're gonna talk about the 4 transfer spots, but it won't have that that cutthroat mentality that it normally does. Peyton saying he's having some trouble loading in. He's calling iRacing to see what he has to do. So Anthony Lepresto going to give him green off of turn number 4. 10 laps the distance. Top 4 advance to tonight's A main. Pace truck pulling in. Here we go. Dawson Hess under fire from the 2 elbows up SimSport machines that nearly make contact there down the back stretch. Tiernan with the slide job in. Near contact there with Hess, who had to really get that car sideways to miss. Oh, we got a crash.
Oh, and that is Mr. Shell.
Tyler Shell. Now, this crash started as those guys left turn 4. Let's take a look at this. I want to show you. Because Anthony Lepresto is going to get down into turn 3 as the race leader, and he is going to have problems. And that's going to back Dawson Hess up, which is going to create a problem for Trey Schmidt and Tyler Shell. Now watch, Shell gets crossed up into turn 1, and Schmidt really has nowhere to go at that point. Let's ride along with him. He goes to the inside, boom, that car is just there. You don't
have time to fix it. That's just one of those unfortunate things that no matter what you do, that's just part of it, I guess.
Yeah. Peyton Grease is out on the racetrack now, shown 1 lap down. Tyler Shell is off the track after that accident. Trey Schmidt, we rode along with him in the cockpit view. It didn't even really register the contact there for him, but it sure did for Shell, who went flying.
Yeah, Shell, that was definitely a close your eyes in VR situation.
So the race in this one is going to...
Update on Donnie Schatz. Starts 8th in the B main.
8th in the B main. That's
also with Kyle Larson and your fast time qualifier as well.
Well,
so the B main is stacked.
That's a tough field, but 8th, you know, being Donnie Schatz, 8th is a pretty damn good spot.
Yeah, it's still Donnie at Knoxville.
So the race, as we get back going, is going to be for the lead. And remember, the guy who wins heat race number 1 will start on the pole for tonight's A main event. So this is a very important race here. And literally could be the difference in who wins tonight's main event. It is possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that there's been a few races here lately that if I started farther up front, I feel like I could have finished farther up front. So starting spots are huge in these races. Even though they are longer and you're guaranteed green flag laps, it's starting up towards the front never hurt.
Wow. Tiernan really had to get out of the gas there as Lepresto went to the bottom of the racetrack. Remember, there was a 4-car invert in this race, so Tiernan was the fastest qualifier. Caution flag's going to wave here.
I want to say that was from McGathey is who I thought I saw.
Yeah, and he ran into the back of Trey Schmidt. Schmidt got into the corner and got sideways, a lot like we saw from Tyler Shell, and McGathey had nowhere to go, really. And he got the worst of it, that's for sure. He is pulled into the pits, so Nicholas McGathey out of heat race number 1 here. And that will be the end of heat race number 1 as well. we are not going to be able to get this race refired. So Anthony Lepresto will win, and he will start tonight's feature from pole. James Tiernan going to finish second. He will start second row inside. Dawson Hess third, and Trey Schmidt round out your transfer positions. As we said, not sure if we're going to get a B main here or not. So it is possible for these guys to line up exactly as you see them on the inside row of the race. But it is also possible that the top 4 will line up to the inside row and everybody else has to go to a B main, which will determine the 9th through what I'm guessing is probably 17th starting positions for the A main. So we're going to have to see how that all shakes out. But it's a good start to the evening for Anthony Lepresto, who earns the pole position for tonight's main event.
Yeah, and hope. Good thing is that with 35 laps, the track's gonna change a ton because it's still really hooked up. It's still really fast. So once this thing gets a little bit wider and a little bit more racy, you're gonna be interesting to see how far Trey Schmidt can head up towards the front.
Yeah, he had an exciting heat race number 1 for reasons that he probably didn't care for, so be interesting to keep track of that. It is 17 cars that we have here tonight. Kendall Tucker blinking out there momentarily. I hope that didn't actually start the race. It did. Oh, wow. Really unfortunate there for Kendall Tucker. I don't know if he blinked out and lost connection or if maybe he didn't change his qualifying fuel, and when he exited out, everybody was already sitting on the line, so he was, you know, basically in the garage at the wrong time. Let me see. Kendall Tucker manually disconnected. So, yeah, a little bit of an issue there for Kendall Tucker.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know what that would entail.
So he gives up the pole position for heat race number 2 here. That is going to go to Braden Eiler.
Your point leader.
Yeah, point leader taking the pole here in heat race number 2. Todd LeBeau going to be outside of him. Chris Roberts inside row 2 with Cole Newhoffen, the quickest qualifier in this race. Alexander Balducci and William Duvall, row 3, and Brandon Steele will be the final car out there in this race. So, we're going green this time by. Braden Eiler has control. 10 laps the distance. Top 4 are our transfer positions into tonight's A main. Here we go. LeBeau able to hold off a charging Chris Roberts. Newhoffen right there trying to get to the inside. See him push LeBeau up the racetrack, taking control of second spot. We're seeing this a little bit here, Billy. We talked about it in the midgets, how the various lines, you can dive into these corners and find yourself on top of a car in front of you. Ooh, problems for LeBeau, who hits the fence. But you can see some of these guys are pitching the car early. Some of them are driving it in a little later. And we're going to see some accidents happen because of that here.
Oh, absolutely. The way that you have to drive these cars is so aggressive and on the gas anymore that and you have to have your car set up right for how you want it. Like, for example, myself and a couple of my teammates, we have cars that are totally different from each other. So it's really, really hard to actually gauge where corner entry is and all that sort of stuff. So these cars, especially more so even than the midgets, is more about car placement than anything.
Brandon Steele running a retro Brian Clausen scheme tonight as well. Everybody's spread out right now. Let's ride along with our point leader, Braden Eiler, who is out front in this heat race on the gas.
And actually a pretty smooth line on Braden. He's not getting the car too sideways. He's keeping it under control. Getting good forward drive off.
Yeah, I was going to say, that car is never really unloading that weight. He is flat in the gas.
Braden may just have to retire from the wings and start running non-wing cars forever now.
Oh, just as you said it! No! Billy, you killed him! Oh, you killed him. The race leader hits the fence on the backstretch. Cole Newhoffen becomes the winner. I know. I'm showing Todd LeBoux. Hold on a second. Okay, Newhoffen won. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe that. We were just talking about him so well.
How good he was doing and how smooth.
God, that was a big one, too. Holy moly. Yeah, everybody in the chat. Hashtag blame Billy. 2-minute warm-up is in.
It is okay, folks. I can handle it because I've been blamed for everything else, so it is no big deal.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wicked Relief Gum is your daily dose of CBD in the form of a chew. Each piece is 10 milligrams of CBD and absorbs 5 times faster than other products. Whether it's pain, inflammation, anxiety, or insomnia, Wicked Relief Gum offers quick and easy relief. Just go to wickedgumcbd.com and use code DOBRL for 10% off your order and free shipping on race days. The DOBRL code also works on wickedenergygum.com for a boost of energy and focus as well. Well, the big problem there for Braden Eiler is that he was going to be starting on the outside of the front row in tonight's feature. And by hitting the fence on the final lap, he is going to be deep in the field now, which is going to severely hinder his chances of getting to the front and winning this race.
Yeah, he is a very... Also, shots update. He's third with 5 to go.
There you go.
But Braden's got a long road ahead of him now. And as a guy that's been there before, it sucks knowing that you should be starting on the outside of the front row or up front in the first row or two, and end up starting 20th. So definitely not a fun time.
Eiler was fastest in that warm-up session. Tiernan was another one that was pretty quick. Dawson Hess, I believe, was second quick in that practice session as well. So we got an interesting one coming up here. And it looks like 8th place starting spot will be Braden Eiler's position here. So
that wasn't near as bad as what it definitely could have been.
Could have been much worse, but we saw in that race a couple of guys drop out, so that's really what saved him there. But still, I mean, the difference between 2nd and 8th is significant, especially, if we see these guys start to struggle with this racetrack as well, because all of a sudden you can find yourself in somebody else's problem very quickly.
I'm multitasking here. Ian Madsen is blowing up because everybody is freight training him in the B main.
Oh no.
as your so I'm not really sure what the deal is. He's going to have to hustle to get around to the pits and do an engine change, or else his point night is going in the crapper super quick.
I tell you what, I really like Ian Madsen. I hate to hear that.
You like Ian Madsen because your son's named Ian.
No, I like Ian Madsen because I think he's a good driver. I've seen him win big races at Eldora. I also like.
He is a good driver. I'm just giving you grief.
I like his brother better personally, but
nope. He blocked me on Twitter for no reason. So
oh
I'm
my
no
God,
Kerry Madsen fan.
What? Hell, there you go.
for once in my life, I can say that I didn't deserve to be blocked on Twitter.
Once,
and I got blocked.
The only damn time.
One time.
Anthony Lepresto and Cole Newhoff in your front row. James Tiernan, Todd LeBeau, Dawson Hess, Chris Roberts, Trey Schmidt, Braden Eiler, Aaron Schaefer, Brandon Steele, Brent Hobson, Alexander Balducci, Peyton Grease, William Duvall, and Nicholas McGathey and Tyler Schell round out your field. Anthony Lepresto and Cole Newhoffen on the front row. We're going green for 35 laps here in the Pure Cornhole League and Tournament's Wingless 360 Sprint Series. Pace truck leaving the racing surface. Here we go! Tiernan to the inside of the second place. Newhoffen right off the bat. Newhoffen struggling off the corner. That's going to give the spot to the 98. Dawson Hess. Whoa, we got a caution. Wow. Is that a problem for William Duvall here? Wow, big hit there going into turn one. He collects Nicholas McGathey as well.
Yeah, and McGathey with absolutely nowhere to go got almost kind of clothesline.
That car just did not want to rotate for him there. And I do
took a huge push on entry.
Yeah,
he was. I would assume that he was off the gas when that happened. A non-wing car, the way that the geometry and the physics of them work is you use the right rear to really drive the car. In order to make it work, you really have to have the thing spinning. So on the gas is always better than off the gas in these non-wing cars, especially on corner entry.
And that's, you know, we talked about Volusia itself. Volusia, of course, with those sweeping corners, it likes that early pitch into turn one. And if you it doesn't take much. And, of course, with the cushion where it is right there, too, if you catch that cushion wrong and you hop over top of it, all of a sudden you've lost a little bit of time to get that damn thing to rotate as well. So it's not always an easy thing. There's your top 10 right now. Dawson Hess was able to get around Todd LeBeau, and that was it there on lap number one. Cole Newhoffen, when the caution flag waved, was in second, which is a good break for him because Tiernan had control of that position down the backstretch. I'm kind of surprised that the caution waved when he was in second. That's a little strange to me. But Tiernan going to have to go back to work here on the 11 of Newhoffen. Coming off at turn 4. Right now, kind of a one-lane racetrack, Billy, but that's going to change here real soon.
Yeah, you can tell there's the slick is starting to come in through the middle. Guys are going to have to start going to the top and the extreme bottoms here and getting really, really close to the tire barriers at the bottom of the racetrack.
Which really, if you're trying to run the bottom, that's a good thing, but it can go bad real quick. He got the wall there on that one. The caution flag going to wave. Alexander Balducci was already in the pits there. I do believe... What in the world? Let's back up here. Trey Schmidt and Braden Eiler. Eiler hits the inside wall and comes across, catching Trey Schmidt. Both of those cars go rolling. That was Brandon Steele who caught some of that as well. Alexander Balducci. Caught the fence in a separate crash there.
Okay. I was going to say, I didn't see Balducci being involved.
He didn't make it, yeah.
He got tight. He got tight and...
God damn. What?
The carnage.
Oh, my gosh. We watched Brandon's in-car camera there, and just, wow.
Oh, my.
So,
Just,
like, we don't have a whole lot of cars left here. Tucker, McGathey, Duvall, Balducci, Steele, Eiler, and Schmidt all out of this race. I think we've only got 10 left. You are looking at the field right there.
About 25 laps left. Maybe 30.
Lap 41 becomes our white flag lap. Goodness gracious. I do believe we're going green this time by. Maybe not. Everybody's still pretty leisurely rolling around at the moment. No, we are going racing. Anthony Lepresto gives him green. Cole Newhoffen wasn't even on the back bumper there. I was a little confused as to why everybody was so nonchalant about going back green. Maybe Newhoffen just wasn't quite ready.
That could be. That definitely could be. But
right.
Tiernan's on the gas, and it... Well...
That 11 car...
Labu's actually starting to look pretty good coming up from 5th, too. But Newhoffen's line just looks really, really good right now. It seems like he's just building up his momentum, getting ready to throw a slider on the leader.
2 laps in a row, he was faster than our race leader. Tiernan, however, was nearly 2/10 quicker than the top 2. He's going to give a little bit of a right rear there to Newhoffen. I don't think Cole's going to appreciate that very much. Let's see if he's got a receipt for that 98.
You should definitely appreciate the fact that Tiernan was completely off the gas at that point when on the binders, and they're throwing more sliders.
Yeah, these boys are about to get wild. Tiernan threw a big slider in there. Here comes one from Newhoffen. Tiernan's going to take control of that position down the backstretch.
Well, and now at this point, you kind of have to make the decision. Do you fall in line and try to chase after the leader? Because the more you start sliding each other, the slower both of you go.
And we are seeing Lepresto drive off into the distance at the moment. Newhoffen not wanting to give up, however. I think he's a little upset with a couple of those sliders. So he's going to make life a living hell here for Tiernan for as long as he possibly can. I do believe Tiernan has the quicker car, but Newhoffen not far behind.
Balducci says in chat, some people call the wing a crutch. Well, give me some crutches, baby, because these things ain't right. I will agree with that fully. The non-wing cars are some of my favorite cars to drive, but my God, they're hard.
I want to go on board with Tiernan here because we're talking about pitching that car early. He is setting that car up for the corner before he gets there. Watch him go into turn 3 here. Actually, he's gonna change it up this time. He's up on the cushion. The last time he was sideways before he got to the corner, which gave him a pretty good run off the corner. He is catching the race leader. You can see Newhoffen poke a wheel to the inside. Everybody's...
I think the more this gets to the fence, the more it plays into both Cole and James's hands. Both of them really good drivers on the sim and a lot of all the dirt stuff that they run. So it's going to be an interesting last few laps here to see how this plays out. 20 to go right now.
Lepresto has not left that cushion as of yet. Working real good for him. Dawson Hess in 4th. Todd LeBouf 5th. 6th place belongs to Tyler Schell, who started dead last in this race. 7th place, Aaron Schaefer. Chris Roberts, 8th. 9th place, Brent Hobson, who has Peyton Grease right there on his back bumper. And those boys, all that racetrack, and they're going to nearly run each other into the fence off of turn 2.
James trying some different things with slider line and changing some of the ways he's entering the corner, trying to catch Lepresto. But really, Lepresto seems to be stretching it out here a little bit.
Tiernan starting to lose touch of the race leader. That lap actually a little bit quicker than Lepresto, however. Newhoffen was the fastest car on that lap. Actually, I have a feeling my timing and scoring's being a little goofy right now.
Well, your last lap, Lepresto was a 15.89, James was a 99. So we'll see how it comes at the line. Yeah, 15.88 for Lepresto and a 15.95 for Tiernan. So just a little bit slower, and Cole's back to around a 16.2. So seems like maybe once the track slickens up, it's falling into Lepresto's hands.
Everybody's single file right now. We're watching the race leader, Anthony Lepresto, putting on a clinic at the moment. Turning in some very fast laps. He looks really comfortable there on the high side of the racetrack. Our white flag lap is lap 41. And see, this is the difference than what we saw in the midget race. The midget race was dealing with higher temperatures, which meant that the track was being punished at a quicker rate as these cars turned laps. 74 degrees is the air temp in this race. Caution flag going to wave. Lepresto did not want to see that, I'm sure. Todd LeBoux there trying to get that car straightened out. Let's back it up and see what happened to him. Looked like Tyler Schell and Dawson Hess doing battle. That caused problems for LeBoux there out of turn 4. Got hit by Aaron Schaefer as well. So that's going to bunch the field up. Nobody... Well, Aaron Schaefer looks like he's got terminal damage on that car. He pulls into the pits there. I was just about to say, looked like everybody got away with it there, but Schaefer did not. Peyton Grease chiming in the Facebook chat saying that he is very, very tight out there.
Well, if he's throwing around Cripe tight, that is super tight. If you guys don't know, Brian Cripe, he's a very, very good crew chief in non-wing sprint cars, but he's got a reputation of running cars, working really well with guys that stand on the gas and aren't afraid of the left rear coming up on corner entry because they are super tight.
And it would be understeer for our overseas friends. 5th place right now belongs to Tyler Schell. His name not showing up on our timing and scoring at the moment. He is up 12 spots from the rear of this field. Right now, it's Anthony Lepresto's race. Tiernan and Newhoffen are quick enough to stick with him, but I think it's going to take a mistake here to see a change. We got the restart here on lap 33. Lap 44 is our white flag lap. Tiernan protecting that low line from Newhoffen. He actually got it to stick there. Tiernan found something through 1 and 2. Will he put the slider in? He does. Lepresto tries the over-under. Tiernan's got the race lead. Oh, but then a slide job in. Lepresto made a little bit of contact there with Tiernan. That looked a little strange, Billy. I don't think that was really Lepresto's aim there.
Yeah, that looked to be like a little bit of a net code.
I agree.
Net code thing. That definitely wasn't anything that Lepresto tried to do or anything like that. But we'll see if Tiernan can recover from that now. Now that he's under attack from Newhoffen, here comes the slide.
Yeah, he went back to that bottom lane. Newhoffen not going to give him any space. These guys were trading sliders earlier.
And he loses the caution battle again.
Let's see where the caution flag waved. I think we might have an issue here. with the 2-car of Shell. Yeah, Peyton Grease making contact here with Tyler Shell. After Shell was in the fence, that's what started the issue, and Grease, I don't think he was quite sure at where Shell was going to come back into play. Good recovery there to stay out of that pit entrance wall, or pit exit wall there, coming out of turn 4. Wow, wild turn of events here at the front of the field as Tiernan took the race lead momentarily. Newellhoffen and Tiernan having a little bit of a discussion there in the pace laps. Both of those guys known for being aggressive drivers. And when you put 2 of them together on the racetrack, you can have a little bit of fun pretty quickly. 2 young guys as well. Easy to get hot under the collar.
That's an understatement for sure.
Well,
we'll see if Newhoffen can get a good start now and maybe go after Lepresto, which really at this point, you're going to have to be in a slider battle to keep, I think, Lepresto at bay. That was James's big shot there, and I don't know if he's going to get another one. Newhoffen might be able to get a good restart and get a good crack at it.
Yeah, that netcode issue there really cost Tiernan. See Newhoffen still messing around with Tiernan, laying back here, getting ready. We're going green this time by. White flag's going to come out on lap 47. So we're going to have 7 to go when we take the green. This race is not over, ladies and gentlemen. Lepresto really needs a good start here, but Newellhoffen and Tiernan have what it takes. So let's see what happens. Newellhoffen laying back. I just think that was wrong. I don't think that was the right idea. Newellhoffen lost 2.5 car lengths on Lepresto by laying back like that. And Lepresto just said, "Thank you, sir. That was great help."
I think Tiernan has found something on the bottom in 1 and 2. If he can make it work in 1 and 2 on the bottom and maintain in 3 and 4, he's got a very good shot of still winning this race.
And you saw that car really hop into turn 1, and it took a set for him really well. Able to get second spot back.
The drive that he's getting is unreal. I think Tiernan's definitely found something on the bottom side of 1 and 2.
He is faster than the race leader right now. James Tiernan, a full 10th quicker on that last lap. He's just got to be smart here. That was a pretty late slide job. Newellhoffen into the fence there. Has lost a lot of positions. Tiernan now. Whoa!
Oh, no. And they're still crashing.
The words literally just went out of my mouth. He's got to be smart. Let's look.
Hey, that one. Let's get a hashtag blame AJ thing going in chat. But both your second and third place guys, both out of the race.
Okay, check this out. I want you to watch this. We're going to get in the cockpit view. Watch Tiernan's hands when he goes into turn 1. I think he felt like he was going to hit the inside wall. Watch. Yeah. See, his angle, that crash started coming out of turn 4. We are riding along with Tiernan.
That is exactly what happened. He had to turn the car right to get off the inside wall, and when he did, it just messed his corner, or it messed his exit up, and he didn't have a prayer.
Lepresto slid in front of him, and the move that he made down the front stretch set him up wrong for turn number 1. He felt like he was going to hit the inside retaining wall, and the adjustment that he made to make sure that he didn't sent him into the outside retaining wall. So that is the story there for Mr. James Tiernan. We saw Newellhoffen have his incident before that. So now, from last place on the grid, second place now belongs to Tyler Shell. Chris Roberts in 3rd, Dawson Hess 4th, Brent Hobson 5th, Peyton Grease is 6th, and that is all of the race cars on the racetrack right now. We are going to go green here working lap 48. The white flag lap is lap 50. So we're not quite to a green-white checkered finish here, but we are getting down to the waning laps. Lepresto got a good start there. Shell's car's been beaten and battered a little bit. He's going to give it everything that he's got. But Lepresto...
He's out there running that new aero package to get maximum air into the engine.
Lepresto is the class of this field. Hey, Shell is hanging with him, though.
Yeah, you know, if he can get that pile of junk moving, he might end up winning this race. White flag.
White flag is out. Shell's going to put the move in. He leaves a little bit of room. They did make contact. Caution flag waves, but we are going to finish this race right here. I don't actually think Shell knew that we were racing to the finish. He kind of slowed up there, but here is your main man here tonight, Anthony Lepresto, winner in the Pure Cornhole League and Tournaments Wingless 360 Sprint Series. Led the whole way, and we said it, Billy, in heat race number 1. The guy who earns the pole could be the guy that wins it all. That made the difference, I think. We were talking about Tiernan was the guy he was doing battle with in the heat race, and he had the pole and never relinquished the lead here in the entire 35-lap feature.
And it was still a pretty entertaining race, all things considered. I mean, it just I wish second and third wouldn't have crashed themselves, but hey, you know, things happen. That's part of it.
So we are here in the broadcast booth. We're going to see about getting our top 3 in here with us so we can have a little chat. It was Anthony Lepresto, your winner. Tyler Shell, second. I am showing Peyton Grease as the driver who finished third here. And we've got Anthony Lepresto in the broadcast booth with us. Anthony, you took the pole for tonight's feature, led all 35 laps. It wasn't always easy. Had a couple of slide jobs come in from Tiernan there for a minute. But you seemed to be the class of the field, and you were able to bring it home. How does it feel to take victory here tonight?
Always feels pretty good when you get a win with these guys, but like you said, wasn't all that easy. Tiernan was fast there at the end, and there was some other guys that might have been able to have a run if I'd have kept making a few more mistakes, so glad I was able to hold on to that one for sure.
Seemed like the track was continuing to change a little bit. We saw a couple of guys hit to the bottom there. Looked like Tiernan was able to hook up there pretty well. You, for the most part, stayed right on that cushion. That seemed to be where your car felt pretty good. And as the cushion moved up, your car continued to stay good there. Did you ever take a thought of moving around up there, or just felt too good right where you were at?
Well, actually, there sometime in the first half of the race, I started coming off the bottom of 1 and 2 there, coming off the bottom of 2, and run a big slider line into 3 and 4, and I'd get a huge run on the guys behind me, so it pulled out to like over a 10th lead, so over a second lead, sorry. And yeah, I mean, it went away pretty quick. It didn't last that long. I noticed when Tiernan got around Newhoff there for second, he was able to cut a few tenths off the pace there. So yeah, that's when I decided to move up to the high side the rest of the race, and kind of worked out for me. So.
Those late restarts had to make you think about them right there. You always give somebody an opportunity, but it seemed like you had the restarts down as well. Every time you got a pretty good jump out there.
Yeah, I've always been pretty good at restarts at this place. Just ran a lot of this place back in the day. These cars first came out, so just guess I have a knack for it here. Got lucky, so.
Well, congratulations, Anthony. Big win here tonight in the Pure Cornhole League and Tournaments Wingless 360 Series. Well done, my friend, and good luck going forward.
Thanks, man. Just got to give a shout-out to some of our sponsors over there at BSL Sim Racing. I got to thank Buckley Systems, Essinger Engineering, Wade Cushion Esports as well, DOB for running this thing, and you guys for casting, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. First place tonight for Anthony Lepresto. Let's talk to the man who came home second. He started dead frickin' last, but Tyler Shell surviving this wild race here and ending up on the podium once more, a couple weeks in a row here in non-wing competition. Tyler, talk about that race and how wild it was, because I think you were pointed in the wrong direction a couple of times.
Yeah, I kind of got the wall about like 15 to go and collected Peyton with me. Sorry about that, Peyton, but I had a fast car the whole night. I think at the end I was a little quicker than Anthony, but slider didn't work, so he got the win. But I think I should have waited until 3 and 4, but it is what it is. It's just about nutrition at the end there.
How is it? I mean, obviously you were in a lot of different modes there. You start out the race starting dead last. You know you got to make some positions, but at the same time, you're dodging a lot of crashes. So you're trying to balance the aggression with the patience. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the race, you're sitting in second spot with that position basically handed to you with a shot to win. I mean, you know, the different styles I'm sure you had to employ in that race were quite vast.
Yeah, first half of the race, I just coasted, just tried different lines and stuff, and then with like 15 to go, I started pushing the car harder and harder, and it's getting more better at driving the car because I'm not very good at these. It's like my second time driving these, so yeah, it's just pushing the car harder and get more comfortable, and I was getting faster.
Well, congratulations on a good second place finish here, Tyler, and good luck going forward, my friend.
Thanks, thanks to you for broadcasting, Chris, for putting the race on, and everyone back at Elbows Up SimSport. Then you, the sponsors, EDU TV, Over the Wall Photographs, Jude Products, and BS Air.
That's second place Tyler Shell here tonight. Let's talk to third place Peyton Grease. Peyton, you had a wild evening. That car was really quick in the heat race. A little bit of contact there kept you to the rear of the field once we got to the feature, but you didn't stay there all the way up to third place.
Car was really good there at the end. I'm glad you guys didn't get to watch the first 15 laps. I was probably the biggest windshield wiper out there, but had the car really tight. And to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be just a tad bit more slick. It was definitely an interesting feature, I have to say that.
Yeah, a complete war of attrition. I think we ended the race with 5 cars on track, if I'm not mistaken. So, there to a certain extent, you were dodging people, maybe even driving under them at some points, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely just wherever the wreck was, you had to be, away from it. So it was kind of a good third. I mean, I think if we had a couple more laps there at the end, I think I could have caught Tyler and LaPresto, but just had the car just too tight and just couldn't do anything the first 15, 20 laps. So those cautions there at the end definitely helped. But, yeah, only 6 cars finishing is not really the best thing, though, either.
Yeah, you've been up there in points every once in a while, a little bit of a yo-yo effect, but this is a good points night in a tough race. But to be able to take a podium, you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I have to thank my sponsors, Ted Brown. Got to thank Billy for the nice paint job for the wing car. Not wing car yet, I've been too lazy. And should have my third place of the night, but that is what it is, and just move on and get him next week.
Well, congratulations, Peyton, on your top 3 finish here tonight at Volusia, and good luck going forward for the rest of this season.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to be it, Billy. We had an absolute wild one here tonight. Wingless Wednesday left us with plenty to talk about, and we will carry that over into tomorrow night with the 410s. And I do believe you said we are at the USA Raceway, aren't we?
Yeah, and I can't wait for it. I absolutely I hated those places at the beginning, and now I'm starting to love them. So I know right now I'm sitting second in points for the second race, so we're gonna try to bump old Chris off the top spot tomorrow. So it should be fun.
It's going to be an interesting night. We're going to get going at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv. So we hope you join us then. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. We saw some wild and woolly action from virtual Volusia. And we will be back tomorrow night with some 410 wing sprint car action at the USA Raceway. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. Later.